Welcome to episode 6 of Snap on This. I'm LaurenWhatevs, here as always with my co-hosts. Up first this week, Benjamin Roller. How was your week in Snap? And keep it snappy.
Well, I will endeavor to keep it snappy as always. It's been pretty good, I have to say. Things were a little bit of a bummer when I was running into a lot of hella, wasn't having too much fun, sort of slowed down for a day or two. Then I came back, and for whatever reason, nobody in my particular snap points range seemed to be playing hella anymore, so I just sort of kicked a bunch of ass, climbed back up a couple hundred snap points. I do think I'll probably make a push for the top 1,000 again. See if I can't get them to give me a few more snap points at reset this time. Oh my goodness. They put me down real low at the start of the season. And,
yeah, that's based on MMR, which moves a lot slower than your ranking or snap points. So it takes a while to pull it up.
Well, anywho, it's been going pretty well. Been playing some surfer things. I played a bit of my move deck from last season. Still pretty darn good. It doesn't have any new cards in it. No Madam Web, no Aranya, just... Well, the thing is, Aranya's not an on-reveal, and Werewolf by Night, he likes on-reveals. So, not the right tool for that particular job. I mostly, other than that, I worked on my deck for the Daken and Swordmaster challenge, and we'll discuss that later. I hope I didn't take it too seriously. Deck kind of... It feels almost like a real deck that I would trust with my ladder rankings and stuff.
Holy moly, what a teaser.
No, I mean, I'm really glad one of us did. Yes.
My thoughts exactly. All right, Ree, how was your week?
Okay, my week is, I had to... a lot of things, but this week I'm actually going to keep it snappy, I think, for the first episode ever. I'm endeavoring. Is that like my comfort deck of Megavolix has finally been destroyed. It could survive the Moon Knight change, but I think the Swordmaster change makes it worse. Like, in a way that it's like I have to adjust it in a way that kind of makes it fall apart and need a rebuild. So... surprisingly, what has become my new, more of my spare tire of comfort decks, less of the, until we get the full replacement on, is I've been playing that Aranya Destroy deck I made just because so I can play Aranya for the podcast. Hey. It's my new comfort deck. It's an Aranya Deadpool deck. I've started swapping out cards to experiment. Right now, sadly, I have Lady Deathstrike out for Shang, which makes me sad because I love Lady Deathstrike. But I'm like, if Shang is better, then I can't keep cards in it that are worse than the deck. I need the deck to be the best it can be. So we're trying Shang right now. But I've played a lot of Aranya, and until today, like pretty much only in Destroy. And what I found is I'll always play Aranya mid if I get her on turn 1 or turn 2, because I usually want to gobble her up alongside whatever she's buffing. And so now whenever I see another player playing Aranya mid on turn 1, I'm like, playing Destroy too? But she's great. I honestly, right? Like, she's good with Deadpool. She's good in a Deadpool style Destroy deck. And so that's been my week. Is given a rental car of of comfort decks until we find a new home.
I can't believe that the Activate hater has probably played more Aranya than the rest of us.
Oh my! Okay, wait until
I've been
more
playing a fair
teasers
amount
for later.
myself. I didn't mention it, but in one of my surfer decks, I'm playing a lot of Aranya.
Okay,
nice.
I haven't played nearly as much as I expected to. It's probably because I was busy cooking Daken decks.
Excellent.
Anyway, maybe the most notable thing to discuss very briefly this week is we were close to hitting the the maximum points or the maximum reward for the Alliance, I was like 700 points away from the personal max, which is this is like with 1 day to spare. It's the closest I've cut it yet. So anyway, I was grinding bounties. I did some like Phoenix Force stuff, but I was like, you know what? Let's just get this done. And I pull out Hela, and man, that deck, I played like 3 games with it, and it just stomps face, and it's so boring. It's like nothing reminds me faster that I am not a spike, right? Like I am not a win at any cost. That is not my player type. I need to have fun while I'm playing. I need to do something creative. It doesn't have to be my own deck. I'm not that extreme in the Johnny range, but I don't know how people play that deck. It just over and over again. Anyway, it's very strong, and I think that's all we're going to say about that. Nerf Hela.
Again?
The Hellcow change was so wild.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, really wild.
Everybody knew what would happen, and it did.
Mm-hmm.
Just like watching, like you can tell like sometimes when somebody's about to do a bad driving in front of you, you can just like sense it, and
We have an OTA this Thursday, or is that too soon for them to respond to a meta?
I doubt Hela's been dominant enough for them to do something about it, but I hope that they consider player sentiment on this one. They could safely take a point or two from Hellcow. It would still probably be busted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not playing it because of those 4/6 premium stats. Like,
right.
It's that ability is really just the flexibility and like the ability to time it later. It's exactly what Hela has been asking for this whole time.
Right. Yeah. Which actually, I wish they'd find a different place to hit Hela, because if they hit Hellcow too hard, then she doesn't go in other discard decks. Right.
Well, I think Hellcow it really is just a Hela card. Like I wanted to play it in other discard decks, but it just like it asks you to go in Hela type directions, and I found that a little bit frustrating. I don't know. I like looked for opportunities to build it into other places, but I don't know. It just screams to be played with Hela. That's my feeling. I don't know. Maybe y'all can find creative spots for Hellcow outside of the Hela discard, but that's how she seems pigeonholed to me.
Seems like it could work in APOC, but what do I know?
The only thing with it, though, is that since you only discard the one card with it, you're always like, well, then the Swordmaster doesn't work with them anymore. Okay, no.
Yeah. We're going to move on to this week's new release, Scarlet Spider, a 4/5 activate. Add an exact clone of this to another location. It's our 3rd new activate card, I guess our 5th if you count Black Swan and Hellcow. To peek behind the curtain, we have 1 less day of experience with it than we usually do because we're recording a day early. Tell me what you two thought about it. Did you get Scarlet Spider, and do you like him?
Yes. I did, and I do. The card came out about 4 hours ago. And there was some preparation for the podcast that needed to happen. So I've played probably a grand total of 5 games with and seemingly against Scarlet Spider, because everybody was hopping on that bandwagon. Seems like a very strong card to me. I hesitate to say that I called it because it feels a little early, but like I think I called it. Seems like a very strong card. I think last week I said something silly like it might get nerfed by the end of the month. I didn't realize how little month there was left. I think it'll get nerfed by the end of next month. I'm revising my prediction.
All right.
Seems very strong.
I've gotten to play a few more games than that, although certainly not all the decks I've wanted to try. And I was low. But then Ben said some magic words last week, such as Chavez and Okoye and Nakia and Gwenpool. So
I don't think I would have said those two in the middle there. I think I would have said the first and the fourth name several times.
All right, but they led into the others because, they're
Naturally.
an entourage. in my world. They hang out together. So that, and then my friend Yami blew my mind. I don't know why I didn't think of this. He just said Nomura. I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. So I did open. And it took me all 4 keys, which I'm kind of bummed out because I this was a kind of spur of the moment decision to spend keys, and I was hoping to get them in like 2 or something. But I love decks that buff cards. So, and that's what he's for. So it's like I do kind of have to get him.
I'm also a big fan.
Right? Yeah. So
Same.
What I was having success, I threw him into one of those existing decks I had. Didn't work out. You do need to consider him a little, because part of it, I think, is my problem was my deck was all focused on hand buffing, and it's like I needed some ways for him to be buffed on the board as well, or just to easier get it. So I ended up with one with all those cards I said earlier, also with Iron Lad and Absman, because you're not mad to hit Scarlet Spider with an Iron Lad. Just like you're not mad to hit a lot of those buff cards you put in your deck with Iron Lad. Ironheart, Brood Forge, that kind of stuff. Aranya, because she does play really well. She really does play well with Scarlet Spider. So that's what I tried. I got two-thirds of the way to with this deck to an infinite ticket before I ran out of time. So I didn't lose the third match. I haven't had time to do it. But, it was working for me. The other things I want to try are an Angela Kitty. My friend Creepy Door is trying him with Hope, Elsa, Athena, Madam Web, who I just got enough tokens to buy. I forgot to pin her, so I gotta wait for her to show up in my shop. But I'm really excited to try this with Scarlet Spider, right? Because with Elsa, and if you have Madam Web in that lane, you can, get stuff.
I just don't think Elsa is in a great spot right now these days, which bums me out. But
being a 3-cost is so tough.
Yeah, it really is.
That's fair. And you have Hope there, and maybe there's another scenario you're hoping to set up for your Angeline, but she's not bad as a backup to like Hope and all of that nonsense. And then Nomura. Okay, this is where I'm like, did this happen? I hated the of Activate so much, and I'm so psyched to try out. I haven't finished making it. I was doing it just before we started recording. Okay, because if you think about it, right, if you're building a Nomura deck for Scarlet Spider, Symbiote Spider-Man, pretty good in there, right? And that's coming from your Gwen pool. I was like, oh yeah, I can use it for fun things.
Yeah.
So,
big things.
Right, and think about this. If you have Aranya in there and Spider-Ham, those are little 1-drops that you can take away later with Killmonger or Falcon for your Nomura board, but they still do. Spider-Ham fucks me up so much. So,
oh my gosh.
So I am happy to put it in, and it's not a lot of power to lose to a Killmonger or a turn 6 Falcon. And it's did I put all 3 activate cards in this deck? Yes, I did. I'm so excited for it, and I never thought that would happen.
Ree is the champion of the activate mechanic. Everyone else was doubtful, skeptical. We all had some trepidation, concerns, and stuff. Oh, so many ways it could go wrong, but Ree's been a believer since day one.
Okay. Ree, make it 4. Add Black Swan so you can play all your ones back after you bounce them.
Oh, maybe though. Okay, I still hate it. There's still multiple times when I was playing these decks when I'm like, Scarlet Spider, I can't play you on turn 6, and that's when I'm going to play you. But for Nomura, I bet she looks good in Scarlet, is all I'm saying. So
do it for Nomura.
Yes, for Nomura, I will do all the activates. So, yeah,
okay.
I'm more hyped than I thought. What about you, Lauren?
Good.
That's awesome. I grabbed Scarlet Spider, also a 4-key week, which stinks. But, I have a decent hoard of keys and tokens. I have skipped a bunch of recent cards. I probably played about 15 games, but drew him 5, if that. So I have very little to say about him. I have tried him in 2 places. One needs development, but I think it's just fun, silly, very Lauren. I want to hit him with Arnim Zola, and then I can have 4 of them. I tested that it works. It's terrible, but it's cool. It's cool. And then something a little more realistic, I put him in the Captain Marvel spot in a lockdown deck.
Oh.
I'm like, yeah, instead of being a 4/5, he's a 4/10. A little bit dumber, but you can pretty much control him, right? With like filling up a board spot. Throw him over onto the flooded lane.
But he can't go into a Professor X lane, correct?
Right.
I'd still be adding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Captain Marvel still wins if you need space into Professor X. I haven't decided yet how I'm going to deal with it, but that's what I tried so far.
I'm just saying, if I were finishing out the Avengers team with 1 slot left, and my options were Captain Marvel or Ben Reilly, Scarlet Spider, I don't know.
Canonically speaking, I think he's going to be good, but I would be. What am I trying to say? I'd be surprised if he gets buffed or nerfed so quickly as Ben thinks.
Yeah, I'm kind of more.
I think he takes a lot of work to be that beefy.
Correct.
I think the floor is so dang high. I think he's too
high floor.
Too big.
No, I mean, I think he's a high ceiling, maybe, but it's still telegraphed.
Yeah, but like Crossbones assigns homework. Cull Obsidian assigns homework. Like everybody else has homework. And
you
this
can
dude
play
just
him,
pops up on 2 lanes.
And you can only play him on
410.
2 turns of the whole game unless you're energy cheating in some way. Or other shenanigans.
But you want to play him so badly. Why wouldn't you play him on those 2 turns?
The other thing I'll say, and I experienced this already in my short-lived time with Scarlet Spider, is Clog is terrible against him. I mean, Clog is terrible for him.
Yeah.
And Clog's kind of everywhere. So it's always sad when the way that the releases line up is that a card is just terrible into the meta it's joining, and not because the meta is trying to answer it, but because it already was a terrible meta for that card.
Yeah, just not receptive.
Yeah. So watch out for Clog. Maybe run some Annihilus or Carnage or something. We're going to talk about next season's cards all at once. In a second, we will skip to the spotlight first. The friends that are coming with Scream are Man-Thing and Mobius M. Mobius. I think both are good. Man-Thing is certainly a lot more fun now that he's a 4/7. You too?
I forgot he got to 7.
Man-Thing has always been a good card and continues to be a good card. That's what I think. And Mobius will have his day again, surely.
Yeah, Mobius was a terror at one point. Like everyone.
Mobius has never gone for good, is my thinking.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Anytime energy, like there's too much Sarah or anything around, start seeing some Mobius.
He can also be used offensively with Pixie, which is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's honestly a strength of Pixie that she can run Mobius and benefit both offensively and defensively. Like, it's the deck that even when Mobius isn't super meta, it can still enjoy Mobius.
Oh, yeah.
I think that they're worth spending keys on if you're doing all right on keys.
Yeah, these are good general cards to own, for sure. They're not... Neither one is particularly niche, in my opinion.
I mostly see Man-Thing and Spectrum ongoing decks or in like Toxic Clog decks. I don't see a ton of Man-Thing outside of that.
Yeah, he's mostly there, but in those decks, he can solo a lane.
Yes. You see, I see him with Miss Marvel a lot too, like because it's like a 1 of 2. Yeah.
Okay, we're now going to move on to next season's, October's symbiote season. We're going to talk about those cards and our ranking for all of them. We will start with the season pass card. Agent Venom is a 2/4. On reveal, set the power of all cards in your deck to 4. I think this is an extremely weird season pass card.
Oh, to be a season pass card?
Yes, it is.
It's
Very much
so niche.
Well,
he's... Maybe this is unfair, but isn't he kind of just Bast? I know there's a few things that are tweaked, but like, are you seeing a lot of Bast right now?
No, but allow me to pitch something.
All right.
Surfer. I know, right? I know.
What?
I know. Okay, but like, let's think about it. Honestly, are we playing Wolfsbane with Agent Venom? I think we probably maybe are, honestly. We're definitely playing Sage. We're definitely playing Ironheart. We're definitely playing Negasonic. Like, think of all these wonderful cards that just didn't have the stats to really, like, hang in every Surfer deck no matter what. Like, oh, dang. Like,
and you think the one extra point is... Well, I guess it's a lot more than that because Agent Venom himself has more power than Bast.
Yep. Like, it just... And the fact that it hits everything in your deck, not just the stuff in your hand. You don't have to, like, time it out or be finicky. Like, you can just play all the cards you would want to play. Like, your broods get bigger. It's like you forged them already. Like, and you can still forge them. And hey, Forge, he's a 2/4 now. That's cool.
Right?
Like,
doesn't hurt Sarah.
I see Agent Venom and I'm like, oh, this is a Surfer card right here. And I mean, sure, it's a C4 card if you know.
Definitely, right? That's the first
that's
thought,
probably
right?
what you were thinking, right? Like, I was like, I know everyone else is gonna want to play Cerebro, but like, this just looks like a clear Surfer card to me.
I did have another thought. At first, I actually ranked him pretty high because I was like, 4 power. There's a lot of cards that want 4 power. That's plus 7 to the hood. One of my favorite cards in the game. That's huge. But then I was like, but Bast is in the game and Bast does a lot of the same thing. And while I do think she's slightly underrated, you hardly ever see her. I was trying to think, like, how different is it that he hits the deck instead of the hand? And I guess...
Pretty different, I think.
Pretty different.
It depends on how early you play him. But then, he can have a pretty big influence because then you don't have to, like, hold things in your hand to get hit, right? You can just... But then you don't know what you're hitting. Like, you don't know what you're going to draw.
Well, I mean, you just fill it with things that have 1, 2, or 0 power and profit. I don't know. Yeah.
That was my chain of thought, was like first Cerebro and immediately discarded because I don't like Cerebro at all. And then Surfer because I love Surfer tech. And this is, and like I said, that's always been my problem is getting my tech cards up to the power to not lose despite
you could
teching.
Be more excited about playing Rogue, for instance.
Correct, exactly. Which Rogue is such a swingy card. Too. Right? She's either... I
just don't trust it.
She's either the perfect card or a dead card. So, like... Yeah. But a 3/4 is something. So, like, that was my thought. And then I went one more step into, like, it's like, okay, there's that. But also, what about for fun? And I already put together a deck, and now I got to figure out what to take out of it to put in Agent Venom, who it's built for and needs to be there. But, okay, think about Patriot. Right? Think about if you had, because Mystique, right? Mystique being a 4 is so good. That was my immediate thought. Is like, I love being able to turn Mystique into a 4. So, you're right. Mysterio should be in it. I always forget about Mysterio. But, okay, Mystique, and then...
Does that work? I mean,
Mysterio would be set to 4, so he'd be equals 4. I'm pretty sure all of them would be 4.
See, that's the thing. I know that, like... There are things like you can buff if you buff Mysterio in hand, that makes the illusions buff. But I don't think that setting Mysterio to 4 really changes anything. Does it?
I expect that they're going to get the modifier that shows equals 4, right? Like a Valkyrie or a Bast does equals 3 modifier. Bast works on Mysterio.
Okay.
See, this is why I need to play more Mysterio.
Works, then probably Agent Venom works.
Yeah. So 212. How do you feel about that?
Right? Okay. But and that's probably true. I really need to play more Mysterio. I was thinking that earlier today. But listen to this list. Okay. Thinking about Agent Venom, Wasp, The Hood, Squirrel Girl, Dazzler, Mr. Sinister, Mystique, Patriot, Brood, Debris, Iron Man, White Tiger, Blue Marvel. Like, all cards that even if you don't draw Agent Venom, you can still win with, with the right number of cards. You have a lot of targets for Mystique. which I always like
Debris
when I'm playing
doing?
Mystique. Huh?
I might have missed it. What's Debris' deal here?
To fill the board. Okay, because we would change it if we took out Dazzler and maybe replace Dazzler with Mysterio. That might be the call. But Debris is to help fill the board for Dazzler.
And those are Patriot
Might
targets.
be overkill. And they're Patriot cards.
Oh, that's
They're
true.
rocks. So she's
But
a bigger score roll.
I think maybe, cut Debris and Dazzler and go for
Mysterio
right.
and Agent Venom.
Mysterio and Agent Venom.
I think that's it.
It's an interesting place to start.
But but it's just like that just screams fun to me. I want a 3/4 Patriot followed by a 3/4 Mystique. A 0. If you have Patriot and Mystique out, Wasp is a 0/8 if you get it with Agent Venom. You could play a 0/8 on turn 6. Okay.
So I had an additional one. I love that we all came up with a different second thought after Cerebro.
Okay.
Mine was Hammer's deck. I think she's really cool with Jane Foster because I'm going to pull out that 0/4 Wasp, but also my 0/4 Hammers. Maybe a 0/4 Yellow Jacket? That seems like a lot.
Although
but
the timing of it, you would have to play Agent Venom after the... I mean, if you wanted to have big hammers, like if that was like part of the dream of the deck, you would have to play Agent Venom kind of late in the game, which is a little wonky.
It's true, but also, in my experience playing Hammers decks, they almost always are running Thor and Beta Ray Bill now, right? But it's not that frequent that you get both of them on 3, on 4. So having a big old hammer kind of makes you feel better about getting only one of your Thors.
Yeah, but how do you get Jane Foster and Agent Venom? Like, how like the curve doesn't quite add up if we're playing Agent Venom after Thor and or Beta Ray Bill is my thinking. Unless, is this a 7-turn game? Are we also playing Magic?
It would work after Thor. It wouldn't work after Beta Ray Bill. You're right about that. Anyway, that was my thought. I was like, I want to pull out 0 cost cards that are 4 power. Like a 0/4 is a good card.
You do, yeah. But what if it's not as much hammers, but you do use Jane for that, like, Yellow Jacket, that old like Glen deck? Would it work in there? I'm trying to remember that deck.
Love
where you
that
would dump
deck.
a bunch of 0 cards at the end.
It's an Elsa Hit Monkey deck, and I played a version of it that used Bast and Luke Cage. I can't remember if his original did or not, but I loved that. And honestly, basting your Jane Foster and then dropping the Luke Cage on turn 6, that's a lot of surprise power. It's not the ideal. It's better to just keep your Jane's power, but I definitely stole a lot of cubes with that. I have him ranked 6 of 6.
I have him at number 2.
Oh,
I've got a lot of faith in this card. Like,
okay,
not even the thing that I thought of. I think somebody's going to think of something else smart to do with this card.
Yeah.
I look at it, and it seems like there's something there.
I do honestly feel like I should have ranked him higher at this point. I did number 5 because I think it's just like you have to deck build for him. You know what I mean? It's kind of why he got so low. But I think he will be strong in the decks you build for him. But he's still one card.
I found that to be the case for almost all of this upcoming season. Is all of them they're kind of strong, but they're pretty niche,
very particular.
Yeah,
true.
I might have put Agent Venom higher if I thought about Mysterio.
That's true. Yeah, it is. But like I said, you can't. Then you have to watch about what you're not including, and then you can't build the deck to rely on just Agent Venom to win because you might not draw him. So that
That's why I think the Surfer thing is like such a good option because you're already like a lot of these are low power cards that you already could justify playing in a Surfer deck. Like. If your brood doesn't turn out to be a 3/4 brood, like that's fine. You can still forge it and surfer it and do like all that other stuff. And Sage is still a pretty good card at 3/0.
Yeah.
I mean, like it is icing on top though if she starts at 3/4 and like all these things. I just think he's gonna fold right in there, and it's like barely going to seem like an inconvenience to cut the 3/5s that I would love to play because me and my 3/5s.
Mm-hmm.
But like. Yeah, I don't know. I see it being strong.
I don't know what it looks like, but there's a lot of really cool Ravonna negative decks where it's like, we may not hit both Ravonna and negative, but having at least one makes this playable. And I wonder if Ravonna could work that way with Agent Venom too. You have a bunch of low power stuff, and you either are benefiting from Ravonna or Agent Venom.
But we've all tried the Bast and Ravonna thing, right? I assume that everybody on this call has done that.
Yeah, there's anti-synergy for sure.
Hate anti-synergy. I won't even play armor in my Sorion decks. No.
I found that they just trip over each other so hard, and
but I've loved Ravonna negative though, and
yeah, well that's great.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a thought.
But Ravonna helps play negative. Ravonna is the card you get negative down on 3, and that's a big
and that is a huge advantage for sure.
Agent Venom and negative, you'd want to get the order of things right. Or
I am not saying that, Mix, even though that is also an option.
Yeah. I'm not sure it is actually, but maybe
I'm going to make my whole deck cost 4.
I mean, I want to take the challenge like Ree would and make that work, but I don't think
I think Lauren was just saying maybe Ravonna. Maybe Ravonna and Agent Venom.
I just think because Ravonna and Agent Venom have so many similar targets.
I hate their anti-synergy though.
But is
plus 4 enough to make it worth it?
It could be. Okay, because think about it too. What if your Ravonna is a 2/4, and then you play Ravonna for the cards in your hand that didn't get hit by Agent Venom, and then they're both helping you? I can't
I don't know
ways it could work out.
I love Ravonna.
I don't know if it'll work. I have seen it work well with negative, and I could see this being a similar one where they are 2 alternate paths to the same. They use the same set of cards. You probably don't use both of them very often in the same game.
Or as a contingency, you think?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. It's so hard to know until the cards are there in front of you and you can drag them around and do all the stuff.
Yep. I found Safety Blade once told me this was his secret when I was evaluating cards, and I'm always kind of meta evaluating, how did my evaluations go? Why did I miss this so broadly? And one of them I was trying to make a deck really helps reveal a card's strength instead of just theory crafting this is a cool combo, but actually trying to build a deck with it. And Safety Blade was that's my secret, don't tell anybody. Yeah. Which he's a very good deck builder, so I don't think that's an easy
one of the best.
It's not a very easy secret to steal, but still that is very good evaluating tool is to try making decks with the cards. Next, this will also be a first week card. This will be in the spotlight with Man-Thing and Mobius. Scream, the 2/2. When an enemy card moves, steal 2 power from it once per turn. That once per turn is important.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts, Ben.
Big fan. I have it ranked at number 1. Shocker, right? Yeah, I like this. I like Kingpin. I'm probably one of the most prolific Kingpin players. I don't know. Maybe there are a bunch of people playing Kingpin and I just don't know about it. But sometimes it feels like it's just me believing in Wilson Fisk. But yeah, I love this. I'm all about moving the opponent's cards. I have a well-documented affinity for Polaris. I love Spider-Man Classic. I think this is a really good card. You can activate it in theory, 4 times, but you're probably going to activate it 2 or 3 times, in which case it's 210, 214. Oh man, really disappointing stuff. Oh, just so much potential you're not living up to. Boo-hoo. This card's nuts, right? It just seems nuts.
Yes, it's got very, very big stats.
You know what I like to do? I like to play Magneto on 6, and this card says, yeah, do that.
You know what I want to do, though, is lose Prio, let you do all that, and then Shadow King on turn 6.
Oh, no, for sure. This is a card that will demand answers. But hey,
she gets to spread out that power a little bit, though, right? Like, because you're moving the cards around. She takes only half of the power, and
all those
the other half
cards,
is affliction.
Wherever they are little sad shrunken things, your shadows of their former selves.
Sad shrunken things.
I put her at number 4, so quite a bit lower, and not because I didn't think she would be good. It was close between her and Misery for me, and I put Misery one higher, but like, I think she'll be good, but like, once again, she's good unless we're in some kind of move meta where you're throwing her in as tech as you would, like a Mobius or something. You got a deck build for her. She's going to be good in a specific deck.
I will say I ranked her at number 1 because that's the card I'm most excited about. And that's the card
That's reasonable.
I think is going to win the most games for me of these cards. But like the other cards might. I mean, a lot of them look pretty strong. I ranked one of them very low that I'm sure is a very good card. It's just not a card that interests me. So I don't know. I'm not saying it's like the must get of the season unless you share my very particular tastes.
I want to play Kingpin. I have that Pirate Kingpin I bought with my own gold. I'll take your best deck and play it then.
It probably helps both of them a lot that they can both be on the board at the same time, right? Like,
yep.
Yeah, the same way that like Kingpin and Kraven kind of benefit from both being on the board. Yep.
I think there's a critical mass you achieve when you've got the two of them, and
so now you get another
greater
tool
than
for
the sum
that.
of their parts.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that we're getting an answer to move. Professor X isn't that as much anymore. He still is a little bit, but considering things can just move into Professor X. But also, like, is move so meta that people are going to be running specific counters for it? I don't see Scream being used unless you're playing a Polaris Kingpin type deck.
I think you put Scream in your deck because you want to do something with Scream,
exactly.
Not because you expect your opponent to walk into something with Scream.
Yep.
I mean, like that will happen and it will be nice. But no, you should have plans for moving your opponent's cards. Don't wait for them to do it.
Right. I also put her at 4. And feared Ben's wrath upon doing so. Oh, no.
I put her at number 1 so that you all wouldn't have to.
I just realized, though, like she'd ruin Silky Smooth type stuff for me.
Yeah.
If I were to
she's going
run into her.
Tell you what.
Right,
so Luke Cage, I guess. So what happens if there's a Luke Cage out? She would still steal the power, but their power wouldn't be reduced. Is that how it would work?
So, yeah.
She would get +2, but the afflict wouldn't matter.
All right.
Okay, moving on. I think so too, but I'm not 100%. But I think
a lot of our power stealing happens in the deck where the cards are not affected by Luke Cage. So, like, I don't know, like if Cassandra Nova, for instance, stole power off the board, maybe there would be no stolen power for her to like grow from. So it's possible that maybe Scream doesn't eat the power. We just haven't had a situation.
I see what you're saying.
It says when an enemy card moves, steal 2 power from it. So
if the power cannot be stolen, it's possible that she couldn't gain it. So like maybe, I mean, wouldn't change my ranking one bit, but it's
I hope it's true, and I can throw Luke Cage in all my decks and be safe.
Okay,
hey, I'm rooting for Luke.
Here's an example where it may work the other way, though. If you do like an evolved man thing or something like that, it has a specific animation when Luke Cage is on the board, right? The things he throws like bounce off with great sound effects.
Evolved man thing?
Evolved thing. Threw an extra word. Thank you. Yeah, Evo thing does the -3. Throws things, but there's a really cute, unique animation if you have Luke Cage on the board where the things bounce off. Kind of like if Elektra or Killmonger try to hit something under armor, like it has like a unique animation. Anyway, if you then take away, like if you then Rogue or Enchantress Luke Cage, the negative power from thing is there.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you think that Scream probably does get the bonus whether or not it's stuck on the enemy cards? I think
that
that's a
would
pretty
be
good
my
argument.
bet.
Yeah,
That would be my bet, but it
think
wouldn't
I'm convinced.
shock me if it worked the other way.
We'll find out.
Yep. Okay, next, Misery, a 4/7. On reveal, repeat the on reveal abilities of your other cards here, then destroy them.
Okay, let me bridge this, because here's why I put her above Scream, is that I was like, I feel like Scream is obviously worse later on. You're not going to play your turn 6 with a Magneto. Whereas Misery is a mini Odin, but only works well with specific cards, right? It's kind of a limited Odin. So, and that's where, and it's like, if I start with her in my hand, that's fine. I'll play her later. I can still play her later. And that's what gave her the edge on Scream for me. But like, right? Like I'm intrigued because I love copying on reveals. So I want to build something weird with her, like with just Ironheart and Hood.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff. I don't think I want to put her in Destroy, really, you know? I want to find little on reveals that I want to repeat that aren't worth much power, is what I want to do with her. What about you, Ben?
I think she might still hang in Destroy, although I do not play much Destroy, so this is just way out of the other end of my body.
Well, you don't want a Venom, right? Unless you're going to know later.
Thinking the on reveals that you might like to copy would be things like maybe Forge, if you had Forge in for like a Deadpool or something. Like I'm not opposed to getting a little extra like Forge. I don't know.
Or Nico.
Like or Nico, or like I'm just thinking I don't know if Misery has a place in Destroy, but I do think it's a very good card. Like in terms of power, I thought about ranking this one number 1 just because, like, I don't know. As I said, whenever I'm evaluating cards, like one of the ones that I just sort of like hold up and plug into whatever is Ironheart. That's like always the first thought, and it's just like the proof of concept that you want to be doing this effect on things that have like. This would be great with Grandmaster,
Right?
great with the Hood, like anything where the body is not the point. And like obviously it doesn't work with Sage because Sage is making herself big, but like any other card where the body is not the point and the on reveal is, I think this is a very strong card, and I don't think I've like thought very deeply about it, but just what's on the surface seems kind of undeniable.
Right? She's a 4-cost Odin for almost as much power, but it only good for certain cards.
The stats are premium, even though you are maybe being a little inefficient. You know, hopefully you're not killing anything that has more than 1 or 2 power. But I mean, even if you just wanted to like maybe take a second swing with Spider-Ham, that might even be worthwhile. We were, just talking about him, and I was thinking about how that's another card where the body is not the point and the on reveal is.
Right.
I won't lie, when I get Spider-Hammed, I almost intentionally never play that card, just so when they bounce it again, it's like, ha, hit the pig again.
Yep,
You jerk.
exactly. Unless that thing's got excellent stats, I am not playing it. I'm on the same page. It's Wong without a telegraph. It's Absman without worrying about sequencing restrictions, but the destroy restriction is a lot to deal with. I think it will be interesting to find out how some of the like technical mechanics work with her, because like I don't know if you use Venom on her and Venom destroys her, does she finish the job and kill off Venom, or does that interrupt it?
You're right, because Venom would.
And I was wondering, like with Grandmaster things, like what happens if the Grandmaster effect happens and moves one of the other on reveals off the spot?
Usually the
Does
on
she then
reveal
still that?
happens.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think she would kill Venom because it usually still think about like a destroyed Nico or something. Because the on reveal went off already, so it's like going to happen. So I think that would happen. What I want to know is like, I mean, I think maybe you're just saying this. Does she also destroy cards? Like, would she destroy a Nimrod, which then does make her more viable for like a destroy deck? Or no, because it's not on reveal.
We already discussed this.
I know. Okay, yeah.
Possibility.
We don't know.
We don't know, but the way I read it is she's going to destroy everything.
Destroy
there.
everything at the spot.
So she could also be like
reveal.
yeah, you could deal with a void this way, or you could clear some clog clutter out. Yeah. Then it's like, yeah, does she still repeat the on reveal abilities if armor is there? I think so. But
really? I would think maybe not.
It's repeat them, then destroy them. It's not like destroy them to repeat them.
That's true. That's true. It's not like Gambit discard a card to destroy a thing.
Yeah, or Zola.
Yeah.
So
I hope we get some team answers ahead of time.
Like if armor stops her alone, that's a nasty little combo.
Yeah.
You just have to think about what you're repeating, but
it's a nice turn 6 play on the right cards. But yeah, same lane, so you're only doing 2 cards then.
So she's the card I am most excited for. I think she looks super fun and very flexible, at least compared to the rest of the season. I have her ranked 3 though.
Also 3.
Also 3.
Oh wow!
Whoa!
Consensus.
Apparently, yeah. Misery comes in 3s.
Okay, so you were talking about hitting, just before we move on, you're talking about hitting Grandmaster with her, but I think the other way around, hit her with Grandmaster.
I'm wondering what happens.
She's cheap enough to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like Odin, you can't afford to do Odin Grandmaster.
No, but what I'm wondering is what happens. Can Grandmaster affect Misery while the Misery on reveal is happening? Is that possible? That's just another question I have.
Why not?
I would think so, yeah.
Because like weird things happen when you like do Grandmaster with like Nico or like things like that. Like some stuff doesn't work the way it seems like it would.
Yeah, there's some protections in place with like Arnim Zola Grandmaster and Odin, so they can't create an infinite loop.
So I think it's like kind of hard to predict like some of these, like which way they'll break, you know. I don't know.
And
but,
the complexity.
Those do seem like cards that have something to do with each other one way or another, depending on their rules relationship.
This already ups her meta because she has such complex interactions that will win you games if you know them.
Oh yes, if you just know the rules better than your opponent, yeah.
Yes.
You have an edge.
Yes. In that sense, she's a card that appeals to me a lot. And I think that she can work in a lot of quirky stuff. Super cool card. I think there probably is also a destroy deck that uses Misery. I just don't know what that looks like. And part of that is like, how does it work with Venom? Like, okay. Did we hear? Oh, we all 3. Okay. Scorn. 1/2. When you discard this, return it to your hand and give +2 power to itself and one of your cards in play.
She's my number 1. It's kind of like the Ben thing, like where it's like to me she's so powerful because I play a lot of discard. It's like, how does this not go in most discard decks, right? Because it's like she works with Drac if that's your plan. Also, she's a 1-drop. You can play with MODOK on turn 6. You know what I mean? Like,
and our boy. Swordmaster?
Yes. Swordmaster will finally hit her.
An actual target?
An actual target.
Like, nice target?
Wow.
So, and discard likes to discard things. So,
historically, yes.
Not by Moon Knight anymore or anything, but like, so she should be a beefy one that I think will be like if you play discard at all, you'll want her. And sure, you probably don't really want to play her that much outside of discard, but I think she's going to be like MODOK, right? Like, but she's going to be pretty. If you play discard, you're going to want to pick her up, I think. Yep. And I think she'll be really good in it and powerful.
She's just, seems like an auto include to me in any sort of like apocalypse kind of. If that's what you're doing, that's you're bringing agony.
You only need to discard her twice and play her for her to be a 1/10. Like,
or not agony, Scorn.
Scorn, I knew what you meant.
y'all know. Yeah. Well, that's another card that might or might not be happening. And we're not worrying about that today. They have the most non-memorable names to me. On
this topic, I looked up other symbiotes. There are enough left over for them to do another whole season of symbiotes.
Scorn, though, I think even if you're playing a swarm style deck, anything where you're discarding stuff, she's great. Like, if you need to play swarms early, sometimes when you're playing swarm decks, you got to play a couple early just to free up room in your hand because you did too well, and then that helps you get power out to those swarm. Like, she's just so good in any kind of discard. I think, really.
Yeah.
I don't think she goes in Black Knight or Hela.
Okay,
But
well, Hela is her own class.
I think this is an Apocalypse
right
card.
In anything that's Apocalypse and also collect or discard, which is a flavor of Apocalypse. I think she totally goes there.
Same fam.
This might make Hellcow belong in that deck because now you can hit APOC and Scorn.
I think you're right.
The tricky thing is just if you have both APOC and Scorn in hand, you're going to Dracula one of them. You want to play the other one. Right?
Yeah, I think you Hellcow on 5 in that scenario.
Yep.
Remember when like Ebony Maw seemed amazing at 1/7, and it's like, I'm gonna get the swarm up. So like the swarm's gonna be like 1-something, drop it on 2/6.
Huge. You really only discard twice, and she's a 1/10. Like, discard twice and play her. That's gigantic.
Very manageable too.
Yeah, and if you don't play her, she's a 0/4, which is like I don't hate that either.
Yep.
So
very inoffensive.
So she's my number one too. I don't know if I'm gonna get her, but I think she's like the best at what she does.
She's so cheap. So good.
I had her all the way down at number 5, but I didn't feel good about it. I mean, like, a lot of these cards are pretty bananas. I kind of think they're all probably bananas, honestly. I don't know. They make a lot of good cards these days. It's a whole problem. I was relieved when I wasn't exactly relieved. I was a little bit appalled and flabbergasted that they did Emperor Hulkling and stuck to their guns on that. But, like, I was a little bit thankful. I was like, oh, easy skip. For once, they're releasing a new card that isn't overpowered, because that is, like, the direction they tend to go, is most new cards are too good to skip.
Yeah, this might be a good time to say I think I have softened a lot on discard lately. Look, my stance has traditionally been I don't like discard, but I think I just don't. Good. I think I just don't like Black Knight and Hela. I just think they're too boring. But yeah, Apocalypse discard's kind of fun.
No, it's super cool, and there's a lot of room to like get creative with it, take different like approaches and things.
Yeah, I don't know why it's different, but it feels different.
Coming out
my personal stand is that I don't play Dracula in my Apocalypse decks, and that's like you have to reject some piece of conventional wisdom if you want to make an interesting deck.
Yeah.
And so like that's my point of disagreement is Dracula. I don't like him now that Chavez is a different card, and yeah.
I don't know. I liked it when it was fun and chaos, and people didn't want to play the cards they did, and now it's ruined, and now you guys like it. Of course.
I liked it before. I like telling myself I didn't, so that I had easy free skips.
I didn't really get into it until the blade change, and then I was like, oh.
Until they got targeted.
Now we're cooking.
Yeah.
Traditionally, I've liked collector discard, but it's only so-so. So, anyway. The next card, Toxin, a 2/1. On reveal, return your other cards here to your hand. Toxin gets +2 power for each card returned.
Well, my first thought was, hey, this makes Black Swan a little better. And I'm happy about it. I'm rooting for Black Swan.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, so now there are, like, two things that... I mean, Beast is still Beast, but Falcon's not Beast, and Toxin's not Beast, exactly. So, there are now reasons why you would want to make your 1 costs free. And 2 of them, you know? I don't think that Black Swan and Falcon, like... I don't know. I think there needs to be, like, a second avenue to... So I really do think this, like... makes me more excited to play Black Swan.
That's such an interesting point, because I specifically have in my notes, I don't think that Bounce is going to play all 3 bouncers, hardly ever. And I think the least common combination is going to be Falcon and Toxin. But you're saying that that's the one to go with. at least in the Black Swan flavor, and I think that's
I'm always,
super interesting.
Looking for problems that I wanted, I don't know. I've seen that there's a problem with Black Swan, and it looks like this might help her out. I don't know.
And maybe
this is a card that I don't really play, so like I'm just observing from a distance over here, but I'm rooting for Black Swan. But there's a lot more to say about Toxin. I mean, this card is powerful and versatile, and I think it's going to be real good. That's what I think.
Really?
I mean,
I don't know.
Tell us your thoughts on Toxin.
I think I was going to say to Lauren, but maybe there is a new type of bounce now where it is Toxin and Falcon and Beast, and you're tripling up on
Silver
some
Sable
little
a million
cards,
times,
right? Like maybe so, and then that protects them also, right? Because now it's like you get your Kyera out and all of that stuff, but like you can also just keep bouncing stuff so they don't have the opportunity to shine, and then you lose cryo. So you don't have to worry about Shadow King. So maybe there is a new kind of bounce here that is running all three, I think. Also, it's just a good bounce card. Like Beast is good at 3 and making them cost 0, but like Toxin's 2 and is going to be like a 2/6. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's good. I rated it number 2. Also, and also he'll go into like Sentry Annihilus stuff, right? Pick up the Void with him, pick up the Hood, like. So I think he's a little more like that. That's what interests me, because I'm less of a. I don't know. This triple bounce thing is now interesting me, but like, but I think he also goes into Annihilus stuff, in that regard. So it's a backup.
So he's just a 2/7, versus Scream's 2/14, but he has the utility of bouncing, right? You get to play those cards again, or pull a Void off the board or something like that. I think the really interesting to me that he adds is you can do Toxin Beast, like you can bounce your bouncer. Having done that a few times on cloning Vats or with Nico Clone, it's really fun having 2 beasts.
I've had it work out, but like I don't know if it's a plan A. That's like
right
when you can like coast into it through locations and stuff. Like it's a thing to be aware of so that you can like capitalize on it. But I do worry that that's a thing for a 10-turn game, and we're playing a 6-turn game.
I don't think that you would do it more than once, but I think
it will be Magic the Gathering line of thought.
I think it would be. I think it's very viable to do it once, right? You either Toxin your Beast or Beast your Toxin. I think that you have enough time to do that, because you're not just bouncing one card; you're bouncing the entire location.
I've been wrong about things I was more sure about. I'm a little doubtful that bouncing your bouncers, that there's enough time in a Marvel Snap for that. I don't know.
All right. He's my number 2 also.
Cool. I have him at 4. But because the cards are so good these days, the number 4 could be, it was Aranya last season. So yeah. That card I'm a big fan of. And it's clearly power crept and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, our last card of the season coming out by Spotlights, Anti-Venom, a 4/6. On reveal, set the cost and power of your deck's top card to 0.
This is my last. I mean, did anyone not rate him last?
Yep.
And it's not that this is a powerful effect, but you're going to have to deck build so trickily around. You know what I mean? This is the hardest deck building challenge, I think, is Anti-Venom.
I'm also just not sure about its stats.
Yeah, 4 is really expensive.
I think if this were a 3/5, I would feel more excited about getting creative, maybe putting on my thinking cap, being like, Iron Man, Arnim Zola, we can make that happen. I don't like it at 4/6, and I also don't like that. I don't like its effect very much, so I'm it would have to have a sweet body to get me over that distaste. I could hold my nose if it were a 3/5, but I don't.
In a way,
like
maybe
this kind of gameplay.
Maybe that's a sign from the devs that this is a strong ability, and therefore it's only a 4/6.
I feel like it's an iron lead mirror, but the thing is, it's easier to deck build a lot of things you want iron lead to hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is this is going to be a million times more what I want Howard in, right? Like, because you can't build a deck of synergistic cards with each other, right? Like, how do you build a deck where it's like, if you don't, not just counting that you're always going to draw Anti-Venom and use them, how do those other cards fit together that you want to hit with Anti-Venom? And then it's like, now if you're required to play Howard, and that it just gets so complicated. It's like, to me, this is the trickiest of all. And sure,
so
a zero cost card.
If you don't draw your Luke Cage,
yeah,
are you supposed to have Luke Cage in this deck?
You can also Shadow King
or Shadow. Oh, that's a very good point. I think if you have both, you're probably pretty safe. I don't know. Maybe this card really is just like bananas, and I just don't like the cut of its jib.
I misspoke. It's my number 5. Agent Venom was my number 6.
Oh, really? I just swapped those. Otherwise, I think we're like the same for the season.
We are in tune. That's for sure. The only playable on 2 turns, middling power. You have to have something like Luke Cage or Shadow King to support it. But you hold all the information in your hand about which card you got. That's a 0/0.
That's a very good point.
You want to snap on your 0/0 Infinite? Wait, it's only good if Luke Cage is on the board.
And War Machine, right? Unless you just
that might not be the right example. I'm gonna assume you meant like your I don't know
0/0 Iron Man.
Maybe a 0/12 Magneto. I'm thinking about 6 drops that you can play without War Machine, and like what would be an exciting one to play for free?
Yeah, well, if you're playing Infinite for free, then you can skip turn 5. It's fine. But yeah, probably not the best game.
Maybe there's some busted stuff there, but it's it's got to be found.
The snap mechanics definitely give it a little bit more equity because you can snap on it, and your opponent has to be like, "What did they draw?"
The disparity in like how much information people have that is a point in its favor for sure.
Yeah, but as a 4/6, I am probably not going to play it much.
Speaking of 4s, wasn't Zabu going to get the activate ability? I kind of feel like they as much as super hinted.
No, they said it was too good.
Oh, okay, got it. That makes sense, I guess.
Yep.
Energy cheat.
So it's interesting to think what will Zabu get instead. It's amazing how warping he is when he's ongoing. 4s are everywhere, and without him, it's the least played cost, right?
I don't think he's unplayably bad at 2.
No, I don't either. With
the on reveal, I feel like I don't know, like I it's not a card that I am excited to experiment with. So like I'm just like I'm talking about what other people should be doing with a card, but I'm like I feel like people haven't tried hard enough.
I tried him earlier today in Scarlet, because my deck for Scarlet Spider had Gwenpool, Absman, Iron Lad, Symbiote. I'm like, so Zabu's got to be in here, right? I've got so many 4-drops. Put him in, but it's like I've also got Okoye and Nikki and stuff. And I started playing him, and someone's like, this is an awkward curve. You should replace, shout out to Freemium. So it's like, this is an awkward curve. You should replace Zabu with Aranya. It's totally right. Aranya's was way better than with all those 4-drops I had. So, maybe if I
play him.
It's a really good card.
I'm going to play him with Wong and Symbiote Spider-Man so that on turn 6, all my 4s are free.
Ooh, that's cute. I like it.
Wait,
make for a good clip. Because he's an on reveal, he can take cards to 0. So I'm going to do Wong, Symbiote Spider-Man, and then on 5 play Zabu and make all the 4s in my hand free.
And it doesn't say minimum 1 or anything?
I don't think so, because he's on reveal. It's usually only ongoings that have that limit. Okay. But I will check real quick. Zabu. Because obviously we're talking about Zabu. Yeah, there's no limit on Zabu. He could go to 0.
Yeah, make him free.
Yeah.
Like it?
I like it. I also like it.
Do you Moon Girl to get extra 4s to play?
Absolutely. She's a 4 too. Like, let's go for
exactly. She fits right in.
Okay.
Grandmaster goes in there.
I don't know.
Do we play Zabu and Grandmaster on turn 4?
I mean, honestly, getting your 4s to 1 cost is enough, right? Like, you only have 6 of them in hand at most, maybe 7. Anyway.
Yeah.
I want to see it. But,
I'm gonna make it happen. It's gonna
sure
be a great
like
clip.
Something there, but there's like I
don't know. We're not willing to do this, but we want to see it.
Yes, entertain us, please. Delight us with.
Gonna add that as item number 2 on my clip hunter queue.
Nice.
Yep, I got something else I'm working on right now. Okay, well that's it for Symbiote season. I think it looks like a super fun season. I'm gonna get most of them, if not all of them. Mm-hmm. It's a good theme, even if the characters are like so interchangeable. But people like their symbiotes, I guess. People certainly like Venom and Carnage. I don't think it's spooky enough. I wish they leaned in more like they did last October.
Yes, it is disappointingly non-spooky.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think that just because they look a little scary, that doesn't count as being spooky cards.
Although, what do we think of this decision to like? It's clear that like the Amazing Spider season is supposed to be like leading in. They exist in relation to one another, like consciously.
Right? Literally, like, symbiote Spider-Man.
Yeah, this is a headliner approach. We haven't seen sequential seasons with like a common thread at all.
I agree. Yeah. Theme-wise, it feels like one big season.
It does,
a little bit. Except most of the move stuff is in the first part, and less so in the second part. I don't know.
Hey, but you get Scream as the bridge.
Yep. So, I don't know. I don't demand that they do this every time, but I think it's interesting that they chose to do it this time, and I thought I would remark upon it.
Yeah, I look forward to Symbiote Surtur going into November. On to our side quests. First up, we were assigned homework last week to invent a Daken and Swordmaster deck. How did that go?
I had a lot of fun with it, honestly.
I want to go last.
Okay. I'd like to go last.
I also had fun, but oh boy, I was struggling. My final version is nominally number 4, but if you count all my iterations, it's probably closer to 20.
I usually, when I build decks, I sort of think about them for a long time, and then I build them, and then hopefully I don't change them at all. And then sometimes I will, because, sometimes things don't work like you think they will. But this deck worked like I thought it would, pretty much. Maybe even a little better.
Sheesh.
So, yeah, I would you like me to get into it?
Yeah.
All right. The deck. You can't see it, but it's there. Okay. That's proof. It's real. It happened. The name of the deck is 100 Bad Guys with Swords.
Perfect.
Some Aladdin reference for those in the know. And the list is as follows. In the 1 spot, we got 3 ones. 3 ones. Aranya, Nico Minoru, X23. I feel like X23 might be the card that has to go, because I don't think I actually get that much use out of it. But I wanted to maximize the Swordmaster potential, so that's what I went with. Then in the 2s, we have only 2 2s. We got Forge and Colleen Wing. You're wondering, what kind of deck is this? Oh, you already know. Here are the 3s, baby. Silver Surfer, Strong Guy, Daken. And here, I dropped 6,000 tokens. That's right. I spent resources on this project. I got Makari just for this deck.
Makari!
Yes. Makari.
I love Makari.
Sebastian Shaw.
She's so fast.
Swordmaster and Gwenpool. No Brood in this Surfer deck. But, yeah, turns out it kind of works. I kept track. I played 10 Proving Grounds games with it. I won 8 of those 10. It has performed a little less well in silver and gold, but still can hang. Yeah, you get really big numbers. I really enjoy the turn 6 play of Silver Surfer and then discarding the Muramasa Shard. Just get a little more double on that Daken. Strong Guy is a pretty cool card. He's a fun card to clone with Nico Minoru. Yeah, I had a lot of really, really good games. I could tell people were not ready for they were not sure what was going on, and that's how I like it. Gwenpool is one of my favorite cards right now. I'm playing her in everything.
Me too.
And
she's so great.
Yeah, Daken felt not as bad as the last time I tried to play him. So that was neat. Yeah, Aranya is great with Daken, Forge, Nico. Like, there are so many ways to get extra mileage. There are only 3 ways to dispose of the Muramasa Shard in my deck. There's Nico with the Destroy spell, there's Colleen Wing, and there is Swordmaster himself. Yeah, I really liked it. I've been having a lot of fun. I wasn't playing on PC, so I wasn't able to like track the stats in detail overall. I really only paid attention to those first 10 Proving Grounds matches because that was easy to, keep total of. But it feels strong and good. I like this deck a lot. I might try it on ladder sometime. I don't know. It's serious.
I'm so hype you got Makari. I love Makari so much. I wanted to put her in my deck and I couldn't fit her for the challenge.
I figured I would also want her for Scarlet Spider decks because, thin out your hand so that all the Gwenpool things go where you want.
Yes! I was talking to her earlier today. I was like, Makari, I was high on you. Before you came out, when no one believed in you, I believed. I spent 6K tokens on you over Ajax and all of that stuff.
And you believed in 3/3 Makari, didn't you?
Yes,
back in the 3/3 days.
And I love her. I want to put her in, to be honest. All right, that makes me so happy. Okay, say, Lauren, what? Okay, and wait, let me say, Lauren, that it's so you that we would be like, build one deck. It's cool. It's for fun. And you're like, I built 20 decks.
It's just slowly evolving it, swapping out cards. So it was hinted over the chat that you two were not going to go Surfer, and so I should just subvert what happened. So I did try Surfer. I tried Wong things, really greedy stuff like Wong, Gwenpool, Symbiote, Spider-Man. That one had Zabu in it, by the way. So we've talked about a bunch of these. And then it just... I found... kind of like Ben was saying, like, I found Daken to be like, he's an okay card. Like, he takes a lot of work for what he is, but he's okay. He's viable. Swordmaster I just found so difficult to use. I had X23 in the deck the first few that I tried, and it was never worth it. I tried a Collector Moon Girl, because I'm like, okay, Daken's adding a card to the deck. And then once I was on that vibe, I was like, I'm going to make it a bounce deck. And so my final entry is a bounce deck. It is no longer it is still a collector deck. It's not a Moon Girl deck anymore, though. It is a bouncy bounce deck. This deck has Chavez, Blade, Shadow King, Collector, Swarm, Colleen Wing, Elsa Bloodstone. You have to realize this deck it takes up a lot of space on the board, and we're also bouncing things, so Elsa can actually get quite a few procs in. Gambit, Moon Knight. It felt very silly having Moon Knight and Swordmaster. Daken, Beast, and Swordmaster. Yeah, I think one thing that I learned from this is you don't want to overinvest in Daken, which was like so tempting to do because it was the theme of the challenge. But really, like, one proc on Daken, he's a 3/8. That's pretty good. Yeah, and I still get value from him if he's adding to Collector and all that. Not like I have like Mobius shenanigans. Swarms were so fun for filling up the board for Elsa. But yeah, overall, Swordmaster was just so hard to make work. He really did very little besides take care of the Muramasa shard.
I love the America Chavez.
Yeah. Well, I have to bounce something, right? Bouncing was an okay way to dodge odd cards I didn't want to discard, right? Like put them down on the board and then pick them back up after Swordmaster did his thing. I will say Swordmaster's like good stats. There's nothing he wants to discard. Like everything I wanted to pair him with. That was the Secret Homework deck 3 that I didn't specify. It was an attempt at making a deck that was like evens only. Like, so Swordmaster is not doing any damage, right? Because I kept having him like, he discards Gambit. And it's like, oh, I kind of wanted Gambit though. But it's so hard to make an evens only deck.
Also, this game does not have a Gen Greymane in it, which is, I don't know if y'all mess with Stone. Oh,
I have played it, but I left before that card. I think it doesn't sound familiar.
Expansion where there were cards that incentivized you to play either all even or all odd.
Oh,
change your hero power based on which one you'd done. Like if you only built with odd cards, then your hero power was like an upgraded version, and if you went the only evens in your deck route, then your hero power cost 1. So like
that's clever.
Funny. It's a very cool bit of game design. I thought maybe y'all would know what I was talking about, and I could just like drop that in. But that's okay.
Somebody's gonna love that though. I expect that we're gonna see more even and odd stuff because Glenn seems very pleased with his Moon Knight fix. I hope that they do something.
Clever.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know that it ruined it ruined the wild magic for Ree. Yeah, Swordmaster is so hard to make work. That's my final statement. This deck, I hovered. Like I was around 12,000 rank when I started building. I tanked my rank when I was iterating, and I got back to 13,000 or something like that using this deck. So it's like I could win. Everything had to go right.
Okay.
It was the best I had.
Here is how I mitigated the Swordmaster problem. My deck is very fun, and it's one of those where sometimes it just doesn't hit and you gotta retreat. But nobody sees what you're trying to do. The premise of the deck is, what if at the end of the game I had in my hands X-23 and Proxima Midnight and Wolverine, and I had gotten them all beefy with some Gwenpool and Okoye and Nakia, and they just fell out of my hands onto the board, right? So that's the idea, and when it happens, it's so fun, and it's worth everything else.
I like it.
So there's a MODOK to support this, but obviously, you can't rely on just a MODOK. He's not, you're not always going to drum, whatever. So here's what I did. So we have, to support discard, we also have Colleen, we have Gambit, we have Swordmaster. But the problem is you need to play on tempo in this deck. You need to get your cards out on time. So how do we do this? We have Invisible Woman. So, right, no problem if you haven't played your Daken yet. You just stick your Colleen behind that Invis Woman, and she'll get that shard later. You can play Daken on turn 6 with this deck. You play him on turn 6 because when the game ends and that Invis Woman flips, then so you have all that time to Nakia him and Gwenpool him and have all this fun because you've tucked Gambit and Gambit behind Invis Woman is also good because usually you can hit a bigger target when you play Gambit at the end of the game, Or if you drew him early, sometimes you play him early out because there's a good target to hit out that's early. But if there isn't, just tuck him behind Invis Woman. Swordmaster, same thing. And the full deck, here I should have...
Swordmaster was an Invisible Woman card?
All along, always has been. There's a meme reference for you. Okay, so the deck is X-23, Okoye, Wolverine, Inviswoman, Colleen, Gambit, Nakia, Daken, I always say Daken wrong. Swordmaster, Gwenpool, Proxima Midnight, and MODOK. And yes, sometimes the plan, enough stuff doesn't come together, but enough times it does, and it's very fun, and the opponent has no idea what you're doing and why there's an Inviswoman with the rest of these cards. It's glorious.
Invisible Woman is such a fun card.
Probably assume you're playing some kind of old school Hella or something, right?
Yeah.
They don't know.
MODOK Hella. You're using the Invisible Woman protects your MODOK from Swordmaster.
But also, MODOK goes behind Inviswoman. The idea is you can play your stuff out of order, and you can, and like, I love, because here's the thing. Here's why I didn't want a Surfer. I didn't want a Surfer because I have a Daken Surfer deck. Because of course, he's a weird, wonky card. Of course, I have a deck that specializes and celebrates him. And Angel. It's a Surfer Angel. It went viral on Twitter like a couple months back, like some bigger content creators than me went and got infinite tickets with it. But it was a Surfer Angel Daken deck that was about building a beefy angel, and then you'd Killmonger. And
so great.
You'd Killmonger the shard, and Angel would fly out. It was beautiful. So I didn't want to build, I already have that. So that's why I didn't want to go Surfer. But the way I'm used to playing Surfer is he's so particular. Like how you play him in order with Nakia after certain turn, he's no good. You know what I mean? I'm set with this way of playing Daken. And this deck where it's like, I'll play him turn 6. You know what I mean? It was so fun to play him that way. Totally different than any way I played him before. And I found so much fun in this.
Yeah, I had turn 6 plays too, where it was like Daken Gambit or Daken Swordmaster, and then dumping swarms. And yeah, it goes back to like 3/8's good enough most of the time.
I have also, here, I'm pasting in a bonus. So guess what? Wombat Combat got bored and listened to our podcast.
Oh, heck yeah.
And also, it did the homework. And he titled it, like, Snap on This, like, challenge. But I called the deck a Wombat Ate My Homework when I copied it into my deck.
That's beautiful.
His idea is it takes off other deck he's made. So it's more successful in that way because he has made these decks before that are about playing Onslaught on Sarah in various ways. Fun. Yes, and before he's done it with Wave and stuff, I think. And here, there's like
not doing it with X-23.
No, like you could Blade the Onslaught. Okay, so here's the deck comment. Let me preface. It's Blade, Mobius, Swarm, Magic, Moon Knight, Strong Guy, Daken, Lady Sif, Swordmaster, Ghost Rider, Sarah, Onslaught. Because if you can get the Onslaught, especially if you can like Blade it or Sif the Onslaught and then Ghost Rider out and you can get a Sarah and Onslaught, then your turn 6, you can ping all those other cards.
You can play everything.
Right? Yes, and so Wombat's made several, I've seen other versions of this deck before, but usually he's getting Onslaught out in different ways. It's always fun and entertaining. So like, I was just, it's like, there's fun to be had. And here's the thing. Like I said, the benefit of playing, we were just talking when we were on break about Strong Guy, right? Because Ben is new. Ben is new to the fan
Cult
club,
of Strong Guy.
The Cult of Strong Guy. Right? There's a huge benefit to playing cards that people aren't used to seeing. Because sure, they can click on it. They can remember, oh yeah, he can be a 3/9. But their brains just don't know it. You know what I mean? They just don't into it that well. Or that they forget that interaction he might have with like Onslaught, Citadel, and stuff. So these decks can win you lots of cubes, just for being wacky and not being able to be read by anyone but you.
All right. Well, that was fun. I liked playing cards I wasn't going to play anytime soon otherwise. That was a good challenge.
Okay.
Do Do we have a new challenge?
Yes, that's another reason I went last. It was my turn, and I thought about it, and I didn't want to do 2 deck building weeks in a row, especially if we're got a whole new season next week. So, my homework assignment is to pick one, kind of in the vein of what I was just saying, right? With Strong Guy, I guess, is pick one off meta card. It's one of your favorites, one that you really like, and give a couple tips for playing it. You know what I mean? Like cool locations that might work, other card combos. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see from both of you, because I know you both play cards. I do not play.
A few, yeah. Okay. Good challenge. Up next, and for our last thing before we clean up, we have another Ben game. The reason you're all here, let's be real.
Oh, I don't know about that. But it's true.
It's a sequel.
That's right. You thought it was just a one-off, but come on, it's the Amazing Spider season. So I'm going back to the well one mo again. No, I'm sure I'll come back again. But it's time for something I like to call Spider Lore from 2004. And I will open with the theme song.
Yes.
Spider Lore, Spider Lore, Spider Lore from 2004. Is it new? Oh, you know it's old. Listen to what you're being told. That's right. It's time for Spider Lore. All right.
Incredible.
Stank on it that time. I've got range. I've got options. But anywho, who would like to go first?
Me.
I don't remember who went first last
time. Ree wanted it more.
Because I'm hoping it's the easiest question comes first.
Well, it might be easy, might be hard. I don't know. And as always, when I'm running the game, you're in charge of keeping track of your own score because I simply can't be bothered.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, Ree, to you. Scarlet Spider is a clone of Spider-Man. But which classic Spider villain did the cloning?
Jackal. Yes!
That's correct. That's correct,
I
Professor Miles Warren, a.k.a. the Jackal.
Okay, I forgot the name of him.
No, well, the Jackal was good enough. Close enough for Jazz. So, Lauren, are you ready to catch up?
I'll try. I knew that one.
The Jackal is really into cloning his students. One of Peter's classmates also received the clone treatment, and it's one of the ones you've heard of. Who else did this creepy professor clone?
Flash Thompson.
Can I steal?
That's a great guess. Yes, Ree, you can steal.
It was Gwen.
You're correct. It was indeed
really?
Gwen Stacy. Yup.
She died again. They fridged her again. They brought her back just to fridge her, like, immediately. Like, yeah, that was always the plan.
Apparently, he thought at first that, like, she's like the daughter I never had, but then he realized he was just super into her, and so that's what you do. You clone dead people you're into, I guess. That's healthy behavior. Definitely nothing messed up there. Anywho,
I'm uncomfy.
Ree?
Yes, okay,
back to you.
Oh, no, all right.
This one is also pretty easy. I hope I didn't make all the odd ones easy. But number 3, Scarlet Spider is hardly the only spider clone running around. What is the name of the Jackal's flawed first attempt at a Peter Parker clone?
Oh, I don't know if I know this.
I bet you do somewhere in there.
Okay, I know there's one other Scarlet Spider, but I don't know that he was also a clone. I just know his name. I don't really know. A messed up? I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to have to go. I'm going to go with Kane Parker.
He's a real 90s edgy guy. An edgy 90s guy.
Oh, it's the 90s.
Kane's a great guess if you want edgy.
Many.
Wait, what?
I was guessing Kane Parker.
Oh, did you say Kane?
Yeah. Is
Yeah,
that
that's
who
it.
it was?
I'm sorry, I just didn't hear you.
I think sometimes my audio dips, to be honest.
All right.
I'm doing so much better than I
Nice
thought I
pull.
would.
Ree is just crushing this time. Yep, he's got the long hair, the bad attitude. He cuts up his victims' faces. He's real conflicted about things. He's not all bad, but he's sort of mostly bad.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, that's
Bad dude.
he's got Bizarro face, where like he's yeah. Anyway, he's sorry, multiple things are distracting me in this moment, but I will focus up. Lauren, number 4. Scarlet Spider assumed the name Ben Reilly in his civilian life. How did he choose it?
Oh gosh. I'm just wild guess that he's referencing a memory of Uncle Ben.
Can you do a little better than that?
Oh, better than that? Where's Reilly from?
Yep, you don't have to go far.
His mother's maiden name. I have no idea.
You know what? I'll give it to you. That's good enough. Okay. It's Uncle Ben's first name plus Aunt May's maiden name.
Oh, okay.
But that was like so close as to be good enough.
All right,
I
yeah.
know where the
I
right
got
is
half a
from.
maiden name.
All right, so you guys are just like really, really crushing it tonight. Ree, we're back to you.
Silver
This one I think is hard, and I will be shocked if you get this one. Where did Scarlet Spider purchase his iconic sleeveless hoodie?
Oh, I don't know. We're gonna guess Hot Topic. 'Cause we have no idea.
Great guess. I'm afraid no. The answer is New York's Museum of Natural History.
Oh,
What? How does that make sense?
there's a
Yeah,
gift.
I don't know. It's in the book Spider-Man: The Ultimate
It's like
Guide by
a
Tom
sleeveless
DeFalco.
hoodie with like the big spider symbol. It's like not what I
Yep.
would not museum wear.
Well,
Sick gift
probably
shop.
must have been. Anywho, Lauren, you're on the evens, right? So number 6 is for you. What is the name of Scarlet Spider's signature projectile weapons? Hint.
Oh
it's
no,
not chai.
It's not chai. Yeah. I have no idea what they even look like.
There are 2 answers I will accept.
They are stingers. That's my answer.
Damn. Lauren, that's exactly it. That was the good answer too. That was the correct one.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. No. He shoots little miniature web missiles out of his Black Widow bracelets. And they're called stingers. That was wow.
I
Incredible.
invented that as far as I know.
I would also have accepted impact webbing, a big glob of webbing that incapacitates targets by ensnaring them in a sort of cocoon thing. This was a staple of Spider-Man video games around the year 2000.
Because Lauren was definitely gonna guess impact webbing.
Well, the thing is, no, it is Scarlet Spider's like signature like trick. It's like an innovation that he had that Peter Parker never came up with. He never came up with that impact webbing, and now he bites Ben Reilly's style every time he does it.
Because clones are better than the original, and I'm not saying that for any reason.
Well,
Are you a
anywho,
clone?
breaking news on Snap on this. So, dang, you guys are really just tearing it up. You are doing so much better than the Silver Sable quiz. Dang.
I know.
All right.
But like,
I'm not
to
going to
be
make
fair,
the questions any harder. These are all pre-written. I'm not going to like step up the difficulty in response.
good.
But here's a hard one. So we'll see. Ree, for a time, Peter Parker retired from costumed crime fighting, as he often does, passing the Spider-Man mantle to Ben Reilly. What real-ass American city did Peter and Mary Jane relocate to during this period of time?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, so it's obviously not New York. A lot of the superheroes, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing a lot of the superheroes, when they leave New York for a time, end up going to a California city, usually like LA
true.
or San Francisco. So
I will tell you it's not a California city.
Oh shit. Okay. All right, then we're gonna
I just
guess.
wanted to help because that is a very
Right?
good default
They usually
guess.
go there. Usually the New York superheroes go on break out west. Okay, then let's guess Portland,
Which Portland?
Oregon.
God damn.
What?
Y'all are on a roll. It was
Wait,
Portland,
really?
Oregon.
Of course went to
Holy
Portland.
shit. How do you guys know everything about Scarlet Spider?
I just guessed. But to be fair, if you hadn't stopped me, I would have guessed LA or San Francisco.
No,
so.
but like
Sheesh.
I gave Lauren the Ben Reilly name once, so I figured I should help you along. Okay.
Yay!
Dang. Now this next one, I'm sure you're going to get this one at this rate. Lauren, what bold choice did Ben Reilly make to distinguish his appearance from Peter Parker's? Hint, it has nothing to do with glasses.
It has to do with his hair. This is outside of the costume?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Yes, this is outside of the costume. I will neither confirm nor deny that it has something to do with his hair.
It's his hair. It's totally his hair. What is he going to do? Load himself up with tattoos? Oh, maybe a facial hair?
What did he do to his hair? If he did something to his hair, you know.
You know, it just
Hypothetically.
He rocked a mohawk. No. He shaved his hair. I have no idea.
That would be bold. Oh, man. You got so close, Lauren. He dyed his hair blonde, of course.
Oh, I knew that!
Yeah, man. Y'all are really crushing it. Okay. Now, last time, the only question that I think anyone got right was about the Neversoft Spider-Man game from 2000, published by Activision. So in that game, what gameplay benefit does the Scarlet Spider costume confer?
in which,
In Spider-Man from 2000, developed by Neversoft, published by Activision for the Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, and PC.
All right, remembering what you said earlier, I'm going to say impact webbing.
Unlimited impact webbing.
Unlimited.
I'm sorry.
Stronger
There's
impact.
absolutely no gameplay benefit.
It was a
I'm
trick
sorry. Like the
question.
symbiote costume, you get that for beating the game once. This is just like a reskin.
It just looks cool. Yeah.
It just looks cool. I'm sorry.
Just like Scarlet Spider.
Now, for the final question, we're departing from the early 2000s to get a little bit more current with it. In Across the Spider-Verse, which actor lends their voice to Scarlet Spider?
Oh, no.
I can provide hints if you need them.
I definitely need them.
All
I
right.
know who does Spider-Ham and Spider-Man Noir.
All right. Do the words, bar none, I am the most humblest, number one at the top of the humblest. My apple crumble is by far the most crumblest, but I act like it tastes bad out of humbleness.
Oh, you're going to make me look so
Do
dumb.
those mean anything to you?
No. Are those lyrics by this person?
The thing about me that's so impressive is how infrequently I mention all of my successes. I poo-poo it when girls say that I should model. My belly's full from all the pride I swallow. I'm the most courteous, biddable, hospitable, reverential, normalary, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I hate compliments. I put them in the mortuary. Truly quite a...
Is it MC Chris?
No.
It sounds like a nerdcore rap.
Right?
You're not entirely like barking up the wrong tree. These are lyrics from a song from another of this actor's movies.
Oh.
I got
there's
no idea.
Andy
this
Samberg.
actor is also a musician. Re for the Steel with Andy Samberg, star
No
of
way!
2016's Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
Wait, is that what that's from?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen that movie. I just have terrible memory.
I played that movie in the background of playing Snap.
Yeah, I love that movie. That's one of my favorite comedies.
It's got an excellent name.
It's great. Yeah, it's Andy Samberg. He crushes it in Across the Spider-Verse. All right, well, those were my 10 questions. Would you like to tell me what your scores were? Probably 5 and 5. Y'all just 100%ing this stuff.
I have it down as 2 to 3.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, y'all. The point is, I was the loser of this game. Nobody was really very stumped this time. I'm a little bit...
I liked it. I was stumped at points, but I got some right.
I like
when that last
some of
line
them
of
were
the song
guessable.
I'm so ordinary that it's truly quite extraordinary.
As a bonus,
It was just going to bug me if I didn't finish the stanza.
Yeah, wrap it up. Okay. Well, that was great.
Well,
that was
thank you for
2 to 3 without
Spider-Lore from
steals.
2004. I am so dismayed that y'all just weren't stumped at all. I'm not going to sing the theme song again. You only get it once this time.
Oh, really? Okay, could I convince you if I told you I actually have been reading Ben Reilly in the comics recently? So I wasn't as familiar with him from the past, but I know what he's up to now. And it's very comics and crazy and weird. He's not Scarlet Spider anymore. He goes by Chasm, because, like, I don't know why. Why does everyone have to go by 10 different aliases? I don't know, but
really
they must.
Annoying.
He's hanging out with Goblin Queen, right?
No, her name's Hallows Eve. But
Yeah,
she's also
so cool.
Halloween-y themed. Yeah, she's very cool
I love
looking.
her. She has Halloween mask superpower.
He became a villain for a while because he got, like, mind controlled by a device that was also then used later on Peter. And so he was a villain, and he started dating Hallows Eve. And, like, now, and then, you know, like, Spider-Man helped them regain his self memories or whatever. And then they went off because it's like, what will you do now? Because they're, like, kind of not heroes and kind of not villains anymore. And it's just like, I don't know, just go off with my cool Halloween girlfriend. My name's Chasm. That's what Ben Reilly's up to. Very comic books.
It's a cool costume, if I remember. It's been a little bit.
Thank you for playing Spider-Lore from 2004. I'm so frustrated that y'all crushed so many of them this time.
Why? That's better than us scoring nothing.
Also, the pages about Scarlet Spider and the Clone Saga are not nearly as interesting as the page about Silver Sable, so I will not be reading them to you today.
Surely we must get, like, a small riff of the song.
A stinger.
All right. Spider-Lore, Spider-Lore, Spider-Lore from 2004. Is it new? No, it's old. Listen to what you've just been told. That's right. This was your Spider-Lore.
Yay! Sorry. It's the best part.
That's incredible. If you liked what you heard, follow us, leave comments, reviews, etc. Our Twitter handles and the one for the podcast, they can be found in the video description or show notes. We are proudly members of the Snap Judgments Network, where you can listen to other great podcasts like How Can She Snap by No Big Deal and the Kid. It comes out every Sunday. Great vibes. Highly recommended. Ben's been a guest.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
it's
I'm gonna be
Marvel Snap
someday.
Podcasts. You really should. It's a blast. I had so much fun.
I fully intend to sometime soon. It's in the works. So yeah, we set up outros last week, and I don't know which one we're going with. Snappy Trails.
Snappy Trails. I love it.
Escaped. I forgot. I said retreat, but that's the button.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got it wrong. I didn't do the outro right.
Hey, that's okay.
Defeat. Yeah. So that went great.
Are we done with the actual record?
I think so.
No.
I'm still recording, but, like,
The music's probably going for another minute and a half.
I've got cool guitar strings happening right now, like and we're saying
Probably shouldn't sing on top of it. It's gonna sound bad.
I'm helping to sing.
That song gets stuck in my head a lot, given I'm the one who edits the podcast mostly. So yeah.